has been a racing sailboat crewman, a business owner since 16, and an ex-US Navy mechanical and electrical technician, and of course, trainer. While working his computer service business in 1995, he chanced upon an engine fuel burn efficiency enhancing device. Quite the mouthful, but it is very impressive. Now, in 2009, he sold his business and started working on research and development full-time. The result is that the highly effective, government-verified, corporate-proven, heavily tested, and patented low-cost invention called the carbon cutter. That is actually quite a cool name. Now, he has been working on getting projects started around the world in an effort to assist countries in meeting their United Nations NDC and SDG goals for the year 2030 and beyond.
All right, so I'll try this again. Let me see, where am I? I'm on the wrong screen. I apologize, I have multiple screens here. Okay, so I am supposed to be hopefully giving an idea of what environmental stewardship is actually all about, and I hope I can do that to somebody's satisfaction anyway. So let us go. Slide 2, please. Hello.
Whoever's in charge of the PowerPoint.
Sorry,
okay.
hold on. It wouldn't move. Let me try that again.
Okay. If it's not working, I can share from here. There you go. Ah, it's alive. Okay. So one of the things, I've been around a while, as you can tell from the color of my hair. And one of the things that I've learned is that the basic item of any field, any sector, anything, any point of interest is going to be the words associated with that. So let's start off with environmental. Environmental is defined as relating or associated with the environment. Yeah, well, that's kind of a circular definition. So let's go to environment. What is an environment? So the environment is a combination of external physical conditions that affect the influence, the growth, the development, the behavior, and the survival of organisms. Organisms can be anything from a one-cell amoeba to an elephant or a whale. So anything external to that organism that may have something to do with its survival, that will be its environment. All right. So the second word being stewardship, what is that? It's the way in which someone organizes and takes care of something. So environmental stewardship then, can I have slide 3, sorry. Environmental stewardship then is taking care of the external physical conditions, and that can be any areas, ocean, air, land. So you can be working on air pollution, you can be working on plastic pollution, you can be working on groundwater pollution, and maybe not even pollution. Maybe you're lucky enough to be working in an area that isn't polluted, and you're taking care of what is external to that particular sector or field or whatever that you're doing. So environmental stewardship is taking care of an area. You are taking responsibility and saying, okay, this area is mine, I'm going to take care of it. That's environmental stewardship. Okay, slide. Thank you. So when you're going to take care, be responsible over the use and protection of an environment, this is one thing you may want to look at. Environmental stewardship refers to responsible use and protection of the natural environment through active participation in conservation efforts and sustainable practices by individuals, small groups, nonprofit organizations, federal agencies, and other collective networks. In other words, it can be a group that you're joining. You don't have to do this all yourself. It can be any sort of group. It can be just your neighbors. Hey, we want to take care of our street. Anything, right? You're taking care of an environment. That street is the environment where you live, and you do count as an organism. Okay, so next screen, please. So now notice that none of the above definitions have to do with complaining, with fighting, with trolling, arguing. They just don't have to do with that. Protecting sometimes could come under fighting, but generally no. Protecting is just protecting, making sure it's safe. That's all. Making something good, clean, non-polluted, blah, blah, blah. It has nothing to do with any of these four. They all have to do with doing something about it. So you have, if especially seeing as you're here, most likely you have the intention to help. And that intention is very, very honorable. And the way you go about helping is by doing something. Simple as that. So you look around and see something that could be better. That would be doing something, make it better. All right, next slide. Next slide, please. Thank you. Whoop, whoop. Thank you. Okay, so what could that be? What could your it be? All right, again, this could be water. You see too much plastic in the ocean. You see too many nets. You see whatever. You want to grow more plant life, more seaweed down in the ocean. Whatever it could be. You find a way to do that the way what you want to do. You see gray skies, reduce that gray. Please don't start another pandemic just to make clear skies. If you see land being used badly, water tables are getting polluted, whatever, find a way to do something about it, right? Don't just complain, don't just fight, don't just troll. Do something about it. Otherwise, you're not being an environmental steward. So what else could that be? Anything, honestly. Next slide, please. But the point is, you find a way to stop whatever bad thing is happening, and preferably find a way to permanently end it. That doesn't do damage to any other sector, preferably. The idea here is there's an optimum scene, optimum being the best, right? There's an optimum scene or situation or setting, or whatever you may call it, that maybe is not the case right now in the environment you're looking at. All right, well, how do you... Hello. All right, so you find a way to do something about it, right? That will make that scene, that situation, that sector, that area of your interest, that will make that better. Okay. Now, unfortunately, there are a lot of solutions that are not solutions, or solutions that do more damage in another area that you're not seeing. Way back there, but right here, it might look okay. Please don't get into something like that. I speak from a little bit of experience in that area. We have, well, I'll tell you what. Let me go for the. What can I point out? A lot of people like electric vehicles, for example. Electric vehicles are nice. They don't pollute us on the surface as much as a combustion vehicle does. But the problem with it that most people don't look at is the environmental damage that's done to create one of these vehicles. I'm not going to soapbox you right now. I'm not going to do that. But if you actually take a look at those things, they're not the solution that everybody would hope they would be. They're okay, but they do a lot of other damage along the routes to doing what good they do. All right, so take a look at the logic of your area, the it's for you. Take a look at that, find something that will fix it, make it better, that does not harm another area. So in other words, you're going to have to look at these things, your solution well. Look, make sure it's actually a solution. All right, next page, please. Next slide. Now, I've been pointing out you a lot here. The purpose is I think you went too far. Can you go back one slide? Okay, thank you. Oop, no, it went too far again. Should be on slide 8. There you go. Okay. So in other words, find a way, and find a way that's there's a phrase, locking the barn door after the horse runs away. The purpose of that phrase is, if the horse has already run away, what good is locking the barn door? It might look good to the neighbors, but it didn't do you actually any good. Okay, you get the idea. So look at the logic of your solution. Make sure it's not going to just be a cover up. Make sure it's not going to just be a temporary cleanup. Find a solution. It's something you're interested. I know you can. Everything has a solution. All right, next slide, please. So again, this has to do with you. Is what are you interested in? What makes you tick? What makes you the bells ring? It's your area. It's your area of interest. So get something that take a look at something that you like, an environment that means something to you, and go in there and take care of it. Be an environmental steward in that sector, in that area. Yeah. Then you'll do good. I promise you'll do good, because it will be something you're interested in. So there's a way. You have interest, obviously, or you wouldn't be looking at that sector. So, I mean, giving an idea in what I do, I reduce emissions to a large extent, as was mentioned in my little introduction there. Yeah, I invented a device that reduces emissions 500 times greater than buying a new electric vehicle, which on average costs about $50,000 US. Right? So I can reduce 500 times more emissions for that same amount of money. That's something that is close to my heart, to something that I care about. I wanted to create a big effect as I can. I'm doing the most I can in the area that I am interested in. Do the same. Rock on. That's all I have.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dan Renner. That was actually a wonderful presentation, and I really like the emphasis on our action, our contribution. And as the future of the planet, it's really up to us as the youth to really act on things, right, Bianca?
Truly. I also really like the part in the in the short presentation about finding a way that we know our communities best and we know what best suggestions, practices that we can tell our community and that we can do ourselves to help be better environmental stewards.
All right. And with that said, that was a wonderful presentation, everyone.
All right. Now we can open the floor for our quick panel discussion. With that, may we please ask the speakers to please share their answers in a concise manner so that everyone may get a chance to speak, and that anyone and everyone has the choice to answer the question or not. All right, so the first question, I believe, will be flashed on screen.
Yep, let's have the first question. Hopefully our panelists are ready, and there we go.
All right, so first question. Can you share some insight regarding the main threats of climate change?
Yes, Mr. Renner, go ahead, please.
Okay. One of the biggest threats I see to climate change is honestly the lack of true data. You get data from one side of activists, you get data from the other side of activists, and nobody knows what's actually true. That is a major, major threat, because if you don't know the true data, you can't handle the problem.
Thank you, Mr. Renner. I think our speakers' answers go hand in hand, no? Ignorance and
information, yes.
And information.
Data, yes. It goes to show that having the facts on hand is very important when it comes to climate change. So nice to see that our speakers are in line, in tune when it comes to that aspect.
Yes, I think this is as well our last question for the panel discussion.
Okay, so the question is, as a collective, what can we do to help mitigate climate change or become good stewards of the environment?
The first part of my answer, a lot of people are not going to like. And sorry, I'll just spit it out. As far as mitigating climate change, I'm sorry, but the blunt answer is you can't. Climate will never stabilize or stay the same. If you look at the history of the last 65 million years of this Earth, climate has always changed. Now, can we do something about the pollution that's being spit out into our environment? Oh yeah, we can all do something about that. In fact, it's our job to do something about that. Whether you take it on or not, it's still our job. We live here, it's ours. So, as I mentioned before, find an area that interests you, do something about it. What motivates you? What makes you, get angry, get excited, get emotional, get whatever? What makes you react? But then do something about that. And that will help make this planet a better place for you and me and everybody else to live in.
Very interesting take on the situation with the climate and, of course, the emphasis on action, Mr. Renner. Thank you so much for your insights.
So that was the end of our panel discussion. Once again, I would like to thank all the speakers for sharing their valuable insights and perspectives during this portion.